And ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to advocate for a Parkinson's disease cure.
Welcome everyone back to another episode of All-Star PD Sportscast with your host, Sharon son George, and this is my brother here in advocacy, Tim, from MYPDPARTY. Today is an important day. We haven't had a show in a little bit, but what's really important is the topic. It's boxing. I have no clue why I brought this hat, but I'm representing South Florida, and that's what we do here. So I figured I'll show that, and I want to also show how beautiful this is, and I have to give credit to Tim because he made these incredible shirts, and just honor to wear them even in the heat here. Welcome back, Tim. It's been a little bit of a break, but as you know, we never stop here on the show because you're still battling PD, and I'm still thinking of my mother and all of you listening 24/7.
Hey guys, what a shake, and I'm so excited for today's show. I wish I could say I had a beautiful hat like George does. I'll have to work on that for next time. I guess I came very unprepared. I was not expecting that, but it looks good.
And we're matching too. Sure, we didn't even plan this, everyone.
A couple of guys going at it. I love it.
Yep. Well, we have so much to catch up on. I sometimes feel bad that we're concentrating on one sport because so much has happened in the sports world since we met, from the huge trades like Luka Doncic, who I watched a few games and they've done terrible. So I do hope in time they'll catch up to the where they should be, and then the halftime show, but also the NFL's Super Bowl, which I know you were really following, and I love when you share for our show because I'm not as an expert in football, so glad that we take our respective sports and still make sure we're out there fighting for everyone.
Well, I'm definitely not I couldn't add much to the halftime show because I don't know what that was all about. But Luka Doncic, as a Laker fan, I love the trade. And listen, big win last night, man. Give him time. Let him heat up a little bit. They had a big win over Denver last night, so that's what the Lakers needed. So just give it time. Let them warm up.
I do picture both of us together doing that halftime show, song, dance one day. That would be a lot of fun.
And what was on last time, because I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know what happened, but there's this one tune which we can't play due to copyright that I do think we would have a lot of fun just doing. I don't remember how we got to get working on that maybe for next time. Anyway, now
I look forward to.
Now to the important thing, which is we want to end Parkinson's, but until that day comes, we have to discuss. I think we have to, not just want to, but also have to, the importance of many sports, which we try to do here on All-Star PD Sportscast. But there are some sports, as we talked in football, that actually might cause even faster progression, which is opposite of what we were hoping, which is to slow the progression. So today we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to share a few things, but then Tim's going to also join me in one legend that we all know, love, and still care a lot about. It's Muhammad Ali, and I think he's a hero to many, not just for the sport, but as an advocate like Mr. Michael J. Fox. He didn't just sit back, kind of live a private life. He fought this to the last moment. His family still does today. Maybe, Tim, you could talk us a little bit through your experiences with Mr. Ali, and also one time an honor to actually meet with him.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of giving you the broad strokes. I mean, if you don't know Muhammad Ali, you've obviously been living under a rock, but born January 17th, 1942, passed away in 2016, 9 children. I mean, the greatest of all time. I mean, you want to know why? 56 wins, 37 of them by knockouts, only 5 losses. Gold medal winner, world heavyweight champion. He's an on-air personality like nobody's ever seen. I mean, he brought boxing not just because of his athleticism and how great he was as a boxer, but I think he made it a little bit of a spectacle in a good way, and he drew a lot of attention to it. I mean, he had a tremendous on-camera personality that people loved. One of the stories that I always remember, not the time I met him, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I grew up in a small town called Bayonne, New Jersey. There's a boxer in Bayonne called Chuck Wepner. They used to call him the Bayonne Bleeder because he got beat up so much he would bleed a lot. They made movies about this guy, and his whole career was made off of the fact that he fought Muhammad Ali one time and he knocked him down. So this man made a career off of the fact that he knocked Muhammad Ali down one time. So what does that tell you about how great a guy like Muhammad Ali was, how untouchable and how destructive he was? I mean, that's like the ultimate compliment, so to speak. I mean, this guy was unreal, the fights that he had and the damage that he would do to people in the ring. It was unreal. But, as far as a personal story, and I think I've shared this on a couple other podcasts we've been on, so I apologize if it's redundant. But when I was younger, my little guy was born. I used to go. I was big into memorabilia, just like you are, and I brought him to a autograph show to meet Muhammad Ali. Now, obviously, he was like 6 or 7 months old, so he wouldn't remember it. But I wheel him up to the table, and Muhammad Ali was shaking at the time because obviously he was still battling the Parkinson's, and he wanted to pick my son up and held him, and he literally held him up like Mufasa in The Lion King, and he kissed him. It was honestly the greatest experience. I'll never forget it. I have a picture of it. I'll post online, and we have it up at the house. It was such a cool experience to meet him, and people went gaga over him. I mean, they were bowing to him. It was like you just saw God, and it just goes to show you how much he meant to people in people's lives.
Yeah, he's amazing. And even after, unfortunately, he passed, they've done some beautiful work for advancing research and hope for a cure towards Parkinson's. So everyone can go to the Neurological Institute and see more about the Muhammad Ali Center. And I actually interviewed someone the other day who works there. She shared a lot of that. We also had the honor to speak to one of his daughters, May May, and this is an interview. If everyone has time, you go to TogetherForSharon.com, click interviews, and you can read a lot more. I spent a lot of time with her and had the actual opportunity to meet her at the Unity Walk for Michael J. Fox, which not only Tim, I hope, but all of you will be there. I'm hoping, as long as my back's okay, that we'll be flying up for the second time to go to the Unity Walk. But this was actually a photo of May May speaking. She goes usually every year to the walk, so you'll be able to meet her there and see a lot of the incredible work she did. And I just was inspired by speaking to her. She told me a few stories. One quick one was that, they weren't sure what Parkinson's was and why Mr. Ali was shaking and kind of was quiet. And one few weeks or sometime he would sit in the kitchen and rip magazines, and they actually giggled for a moment because they couldn't understand it. They thought he was joking, but after a while he got frustrated because they were laughing at him. So they decided as a family, why not sit there with him and do that with the magazines. And he was, really happy and realized that now people could support and understand things and symptoms that come from Parkinson's. And just beautiful to see his family publicly also advocating. And we also wanted to share, there's a lot of research today that people with Parkinson's are being benefited because of the University of Florida, and a lot of the doctors, which we know, Dr. Oken, who's close with me, myself, and many of you out there, but how they actually treated Ali for Parkinson's. So there's a lot of research out there that you can also look, and I'll share this websites. And then we also have a beautiful message that Tim will share later with one of his other well-known daughters, Rashida Ali. So there's a lot of things out there, and he's a notable figure, but a hero, because instead of, again, kind of being, in quiet, which everyone has the right to, he still spoke up, even when he was, I think, carrying the Olympic torch, was showing signs pretty significantly of Parkinson's, and still kept fighting till the end.
Yeah, and I will say, touching upon that, George, the times I've spoken with Rashida Ali, she was very big on mentioning how, listen, there wasn't a more confident person than Muhammad Ali, anybody who's seen him talk on camera. But as frustrated as he became at times, he still did it with a smile on his face. He didn't let it consume him. Even though it was a frustrating thing, he fought to, no pun intended, but he fought to the very end, and he always did it with a smile on his face. And I think that's important, because step one is getting the right ear in the mind. I mean, because you got to be in the right mindset to fight, and that's for sure.
Yeah, I hope, and we both, I think, hope for the show is that everyone out there knows that you're not alone, but also there are so many exercises and sports that people are actually attempting now and doing daily that help slow the progression. There's two we wanted to also discuss. One I'm going to let Tim talk on, but probably the really world-renowned organization, and we've had Ryan, who's now the CEO, Ryan Cotton, on the podcast, and also did an interview with him, if everybody also wants to see that for free, at TogetherForSharon.com. And he's been doing some incredible leadership roles, but I love Rocksteady because it reaches so many individuals around the world, which is, beautiful. And it's just, and it's only been around for a short time, but it's incredible to see how much it's grown. So Tim, maybe you could touch a little bit about Rocksteady.
I absolutely can, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go another route than you probably thought I was going to go. I mean, we all know about the physical aspects of it, as far as helping with the balance, the coordination, the agility. And I'll post a video of online. You could be able to see me doing it, but I'm going to take another route too. When I first did my first rock steady boxing classes, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it, and I'll explain it to you. It's not that the classes weren't great; they were phenomenal. I didn't like what it did to me, because I was still not accepting of what was going on, and I felt like it was a glimpse into my future. But what I did realize is it's not even so much about the therapy that it gives you. It's about acceptance. You see people that have shared the same disease as you have, the same symptoms, and all of a sudden you start to realize, you know what? It's just part of you. It doesn't define who you are. So I think at first I was fighting it because I wasn't, I was still in disbelief that I had it. And it was a little depressing at first, but once I realized what it was all about, I got to tell you, it's the greatest sense of community that I've ever found in anything as far as Parkinson's goes. I mean, again, you talk to people that share symptoms. Sometimes they might tell you something that works for you that might not work for them, and vice versa. But what I love about it is, aside from the balance, the agility, the coordination that you learn, which are all important, you start to gain a little confidence from doing it. You accept, no person should be defined by one thing. No, Parkinson's does not define anybody. A mistake does not define you. Your greatest accomplishment doesn't define you. It's your body of work. And what Rocksteady Boxing really taught me was that, again, Parkinson's disease is just a part of you. It doesn't define you. And it helped me actually accept what I had. And I think that was the biggest thing, is really just accepting what I had and going from there and giving me the tools I needed to fight. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I would encourage anybody to seek out their local Rocksteady community and definitely join.
Yeah, that's what I love is that there are so many, and if there aren't, you can actually start one in your location, and also just make sure you don't get, it's not physical fight one-on-one. It's more just the exercise. I think some people are worried they'll be punched in the face. So I want to make sure everyone knows that's not really what this is about. This is more exercise for all people. They have seated too. So please check out this website is rocksteadyboxing.org, and you can look a lot more. There's one more organization I did want to mention because we had the honor in Miami, Florida, to go to one of their boxing events. This is actually professional. They do a variety of things, but they actually have professional fights. So they'll have professional boxers. They'll have regular people jump in the ring, just box and raise money and awareness for Parkinson's. One of the individuals who started it is somebody I consider a family, and it's Ryan. He started this. He had his family. It was affected by Parkinson's. You can read a lot more too. Again, if you click interviews, go to Together for Sharon. But you'll see here more about Ryan. I hope he'll come on the show. But his many people in his life have been affected by it. They've done some beautiful things. They're so big now. They give away. Look at this. I always get emails, but they give away cars. They give away money. It's like become huge. They have a circle of him, the things he does. He's really a great guy. And we donated a certain amount of money and got boxing gloves from Mike Tyson, which we donated to, Tim's charity, which was great. So it's just a lot of things that are so good going on, but a lot of people, unfortunately, I think aren't aware. So if we just find, again, one person out there who might be close, I think he's in Boston, but, located near Punch for Parkinson's, or didn't know that Muhammad Ali had Parkinson's, or that, Tim shared the importance of Rocksteady. We've now shared 3 very important resources for you all, and we hope you'll, use those and take advantage of them.
And I will add one thing, George, not so much the Punch for Parkinson's. I know that's a boxing venue, so to speak, but the Rocksteady Boxing, a lot of people see, when I introduce them to that and I tell them about it, like some of the older people, some of the people that are wheelchair bound, they kind of fight it, but you don't have to, because it's, you touched upon it. It's not about getting in there and showing how great you are, because truthfully, I made that mistake too. I went in there and I thought it was about how hard I punch and how fast I move. It's not about that. It's just about the movement. And again, I've seen people use it with wheelchairs. They will cater to any symptoms you have and any level of Parkinson's that you're at. So there's no reason to not seek it out. Trust me, it will benefit you in some way for sure.
And these days, also, I'm not going to put my word on it, but have a good feeling that you could do it virtually too. And that's beautiful for people who can't get out of the house. And I always recommend the caregivers do this with you. Some of the classes, they do have both, the caregiver and person diagnosed. And I think that's great because it's not just about exercise anymore. It's also the social aspect. And we do talk a little, but we need to more about all the other symptoms that we don't really discuss a lot because we're so focused on the literal symptoms of Parkinson, but the mental symptoms also that are coming due to it are something that need to be discussed more. Like I wrote a blog recently on loneliness, and if you join these organizations, that goes out the window because now you have a family life,
And you touched upon the sense of community. That's the biggest thing. It makes you not want to feel alone. And another thing too that I would add too is they make things that you could even put in your house now. I mean, they have this Bluetooth boxing machine that you can put on the wall where you kind of follow neon signs and you punch it. They make a jiu-jitsu boxing thing. I think it's called the Jukester. That kind of moves and sways, and it teaches you to move and sway with it and hit it. So even if you're not confident enough to get out there and join a class just yet, they do make things off Amazon. You could order for like $30 that you could do right at your home. Just until you get your comfort level with going out.
I love that. I mean, this technology, we've had a few scientists on talking about technology to help reduce the symptoms and slow the progression of Parkinson, but sports technology sounds like a show we might someday have to do one on because the fun thing about this show is, in a way, it's great because we're never going to run out of topics. Because even if we got through every sport, there's technology too. But part of me also is sad about that because I want us to find the cure and not have to have shows. That's like the weirdest show we're on. We want a show, but we want to have a cure to end the show. So
the dream is for you and I to have this show and not talk about Parkinson's because that means, we can talk about Luka Doncic and goes for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely, and we won't get into it, but Canada and U.S. hockey.
Oh, I touch upon that yet.
And also now, if you have Netflix, everyone, even though they're not sponsoring yet, I hope they do one day. But there's a beautiful show covering the entire Olympics for basketball, men's basketball, and takes you through a whole episode, like series of the dream team to today and the goal of now how Olympic sports for men's basketball is so big that USA kind of got scared that they'll never win again because all the other countries are such great professionals. You could see the NBA, a lot of them are in the NBA, but now because USA was losing, that's when they brought everyone like Steph and LeBron back. But now that they're going to be kind of, who knows when they'll retire, but will the next generation be able to win the Olympics for men, USA, because other countries are so good, but that's for a different.
It should be. It should always be the best of the best, right?
Yeah. But, this show is very important. I feel like we should have a 12-hour show in boxing, but probably wrap up now just because we do respect everyone's time and we are already off to the next topic. We have golf, pickleball, so many great topics planned with guests coming, which will be a lot of fun. And I'm also hoping some big-time guests, still working on a football player, so hopefully he'll join us. But there, if you have questions, everyone listening, or want a guest to come on, or even yourself enjoy sports and just kind of want to join us for a conversation, feel free to write Tim at MyPDPARTY on Instagram, but also everywhere, or TogetherForSharon.com, and you can find my email. So I just wanted to send the show back to Tim for a few final wrap-ups. But again, such an honor to be with you, Tim, as always, and everyone listening. We can't do this without you, so please share this. As always, don't have to say it, but we don't do this for anything except if we could reach just one person, change their life, and realize they're not alone, but also there are ways to combat the disease until the cure is at everyone's doorsteps around the world.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better, George. And it's such an honor to do this with you, and I look forward to it. We need to do more of it. We always like to close out the show with a motivational quote. So I researched our greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. And I tossed and turned with this because there were so many that were the good ones that I couldn't pick one. So I'm going to give you three. Number one, don't count the days, make the days count. Number two, if your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, then you can achieve it. And which I personally think the best one is, because we speak about this all the time, life's going to give you ups and downs. It's how you get up. You don't lose if you get knocked down. You only lose if you stay down. So awesome, man. Listen, this is a battle. It's always going to be. And they're going to be, listen, I'm not ashamed to admit that. I told you off the air, I had a rough time coming on today. There's always going to be rough days, but that's what these therapies are for. That's what the rock steady boxings are for. That's what medicines are for. It's so you don't stay down. Every time you're down, there's a way to get back up. And I would encourage anybody to do that for sure. That's what it's all about. Fight the fight.
And like I always say, and not enough, you encourage me and motivate me, Tim, to keep fighting alongside, and everybody listening too. Without all of you, this wouldn't be possible. So I look forward to so many more episodes to come, because there's so many more sports, but even more importantly, so many more lives that I think need to realize that you can right now, today, this moment, change your life by through different sports. If you don't like one sport, try another. Unfortunately, Sunday mornings, my life was basketball. I didn't go today and may never go back. I decided, just due to my back. So, but there's other sports. We're getting a new trike. So
There you go.
yeah, I don't know how to ride a bike. I never learned, and I don't want to start falling now. So I'll be out there. If anyone in Florida sees some guy, big, tall, 6'2" white guy riding around only one probably in a trike. I even wanted to get a elliptical, the one you ride outside, because it's so nice out. But I don't want to be that guy.
Well, we just said you don't lose if you get knocked down, right? You only lose if you don't get back up. So maybe boxing and maybe basketball's off your sports card, but there's always something else.
Yeah, definitely. And I also look forward to not just learning from you, Tim, but learning alongside through these discussions, through this information. There's so much out there, but if we could even just offer it in a little short time for everyone, I think that we've done something to change the world for the better. So thank you again. And also, most importantly, thank you everyone for listening. This has been another episode of All-Star PD Sportscast with your host, Tim, my PD Party, and also Sharon, son George, that's me. But this is where we discuss the world of sports and slowing the progression of Parkinson's disease. And as you know, whether the lights, camera, and paparazzi leave today, we're still going to be fighting for you. And of course for Tim, and we're not going to rest the memory of all those we've lost due to PD and the caregivers and families. And again, we just hope you'll share this and also join us for the next episode. Thanks, everybody. We love you.
Love you guys.
My dad always said to his fellow Parkinsonians, "You are not alone in this battle," and you're not. I wish you the very best on your journey, and I pray you continue to inspire others living with Parkinson's disease. God bless.